You walk out of the job interview thinking it went great. But then, nothing. No follow-up, no offer, just dead silence. And you're left thinking, what did I miss? I've coached hundreds of gaming professionals. Designers, producers, marketers, ops leads, and let me tell you the truth. You're not bad at interviews. And most of the people we passed on, they weren't underqualified. Honestly, they were probably just forgettable. And in this video, I'll show you 5 simple steps to turn that same interview into an unforgettable one, so you never miss out on that job again. Step number 1. Here's a mistake I see even the smartest candidates make. They describe their responsibilities, not their results. I manage creators for multiple launches. I oversaw a cross-functional team for an event series. I help localize product features for Southeast Asia. All of that is fine, but it's just a job description, not a reason to hire you over the other 10 people with the same experience. Because here's what most people forget. Interviewers aren't just checking if you've done the job. They're trying to figure out if you made a difference. And if your story doesn't make them feel that difference, they move on. That's why you need step number 2. I coach every candidate to use a simple reframe. STAR plus impact. You've probably heard of STAR before. Situation, task, action, result. But here's where people stop way too early. They think the result is the end. It's actually not. The real unlock here is the impact layer. How did the project change the game, the team, the business, the player experience? That's what gets you remembered. That's what makes a hiring manager lean in and take note. Step number 3. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine a systems designer applying to a mid-sized studio. Here's where they might start. I worked on combat progression, helped implement XP scaling, and worked with narrative and combat teams to ensure balance. It sounds fine, responsible, collaborative, but it doesn't land. There's no arc, no outcome. Now imagine reframing it like this. When we saw players dropping off before the first boss, I collaborated with analytics and UX to find the friction points. I prototyped a system that adapted to playstyle, and post-launch, we saw an 18% increase in early game retention. Same person, same project, but now they sound like a designer who solves real problems that move player metrics. Step 4. Now that you have an example to follow, you need to add something else. Relevance. The next layer most people miss. It's not enough to just tell strong stories. You have to tell stories that show you solve their kind of problems. When I was hiring at Riot, we weren't just looking for smart people. We were looking for people who could scale with a fast-moving team. People who could drive results in messy, ambiguous environments. People who thought about players before features. If your story highlights those traits, even if your title is junior, we noticed. Because now, you're not just experienced, you're relevant. And once you're relevant, you need to add the final ingredient of owning your outcomes. The final step is to explain how you drive outcomes. Story time. One of my favorite clients wasn't a designer or an engineer. She was an influencer manager, mid-career, strategic, and had led major campaigns. But she'd already been rejected twice by top-tier publishers. On paper, she looked great. In interviews, she was polished. The problem? Her answers sounded like a checklist. I work with creators, manage agency partnerships, track campaign KPIs. All true, but none of it stuck. So I asked her, when did you make a decision that changed the outcome? And she said, we had a creator back out 2 days before a sponsored stream. I found a rising indie creator, helped them build a custom segment, and the stream ended up performing better than the original plan by 40%. And we rewrote it into this. 2 days before a high-stakes stream, our lead creator dropped out. I pivoted fast and found an indie creator whose community was deeply engaged. I helped shape a custom stream format, and their segment ended up exceeding our KPIs by 40%. That pivot didn't just save the campaign, it became the post-mortem highlight. Same person, but now she's not just executing, she's owning the outcomes. And 2 weeks later, she got hired at a global publisher. Look, if you keep walking out of interviews thinking, that went great, but still aren't getting the offer, it's not your experience, it's your framing. But if you're not even getting interviews right now, then you're missing something bigger. In the next video, I'll walk you through the full strategy my clients are using to consistently land interviews at top studios. It's a simple process, and I've seen it work over and over again.